Now, I know that no Whitehall Christmas would be complete without some bubbly, so I brought some champagne.
Also,
which
can
I'm
I,
gonna crack open now?
whilst you're opening that, I did bring hats for everyone, but are you going to wear a hat?
I did have a hat. Your son bought me a hat for my...
I bought him a little helper hat. He can't have the Santa one.
Well,
Only I
look,
can.
everyone's got a Santa. Do you want a Santa hat, Michael?
No, I'm
you
fine,
said I
thank
knew
you.
he wouldn't wear one.
No.
You could put on your Grinch mask.
Oh,
Right,
very
so-
funny.
You appear to already be wearing it.
Very, very funny, Jack.
Oh, the Christmas pants.
Right, so I'll get rid of these
Now we're
Santa
cooking with
hats.
gas. Let's get this open. Woo! Oh, God. Oh, my God, that was very hard.
Big pop.
Wow, that
Yeah.
was.
Do you want
Explosive. Shall I pass
do you
it?
want to be mother?
Quite
I'll
aggressive.
be mother with the moet.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I
Yes.
knew I wouldn't be able to get you into this studio unless I was
Offering
coaxing you in with booze.
Oh, listen to this.
booze. Yeah, it sounds good.
That's the sound we
The
like.
champagne reminds me of when we had Joan Collins on our chat show. Do you remember? Don't make that noise.
What?
You can't make that noise when I meant
That wasn't
Dame
me.
Joan Collins.
That wasn't me that made that noise.
And we had her on our chat show,
Yeah.
and in the first recording, we were like, what, 20 minutes in? And there was
no,
a little...
it was a bit more
Okay,
than
it was
that.
a bit
Give her-
longer.
give
I'll
one
give her
minute.
a
minutes in.
Yeah, but we were, we weren't that far into the recording, and then she got up and walked off because there was a break in the recording. And I was like, oh no, that's just like the first part. We need you back. We've still got like 3/4 of the show to do. And she was like, well, I can't stay. I have dinner reservations. And she was literally walking off the set. And then the only way we were able to get her back onto the set was by giving her champagne. So we had to bring out champagne and ply her.
Do you
with
remember that
Moe.
you'd employed an actor to play a butler to bring out the champagne, and he tripped just as he got to Joan? The other guest was Miranda Hart. He tripped just as he got there.
Yeah,
And the
did a
whole thing went
Miranda
all
Hart.
did a Miranda Hart. I mean, I think it was his homage to Miranda. So most of it ended up on the tray. So then they had to pour Mirandas into Joan's because Joan needed a proper sized glass, and it was all a bit of a mess, really.
But
wasn't
Michael
it?
Whitehall very much is the male Dame Joan Collins. And that
Or indeed
you
the
won't
other
go or stay anywhere unless there's champagne on tap.
the other person who had it in her rider that there had to be copious champagne at all times in her dressing room was our Scylla.
Scylla Black.
Scylla loved a bit of
Oh,
champagne.
she was
Bless
sweet,
She
Cilla
was
Black.
lovely, She was. Yeah.
I mean, she was really nice. I loved Cilla.
You're labouring the point. I think we've got the subliminal message.
No, there's no messages about that sort of thing at all.
Are you having some of this champagne?
Yeah. Do you want
When
some?
your
It would
son
be
decides
churlish
to give
not
me
to.
some-
I got you some Blue Nun.
Great. Hilary, can I ask, what's the doll that you've got?
I'm
that
glad
you
you've
brought
asked
with
that,
you?
James, because I had a situation on, fairly recently where Michael and I went and did the Barnes Book Festival without Jack. We were on our own, so I thought I need every kind of prop that I can to help me. And I said to Michael, when we get on stage, can you just explain to the audience who Winston is, just so that they all know? And we got on stage, and then, bless you, Michael, you forgot. So I said, Michael, can you just explain why I'm standing here with a doll? Because at the moment, I just look like a mad woman with a doll. So then you said, yes, I will. So it was, Winston is from the Netflix series, is he not?
He is.
He is.
I was just about to say she is because of that long hair. A series called Travels with My Father,
I've heard of it.
which went out on Netflix for quite a long time. I couldn't believe it was 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
5 years. Unbelievable.
5 happy years.
Anyway, the first episode that we did, which was in Thailand,
Yeah.
we went to this place.
Well, it was
I
in
think it was
Bangkok.
That woman's house.
In Bangkok.
In Bangkok.
Yeah.
And she sold dolls.
Look Tep dolls.
Look
Look.
dolls. Well, you can understand why I didn't know what they were. and what they were was dolls that you take
Bring
and
you
they
good
bring you
fortune.
good fortune.
So it's luck tap, is that good luck?
Yeah,
It's good luck, yeah.
Right.
exactly.
That's
Very
brilliant.
And
easy
people
to
treat
do.
them like their own children, so they book them an aircraft seat, etc., etc.
Some
Probably not an aircraft, maybe just a
Aircraft
seat.
seat,
Oh,
I
yes,
said.
Yeah.
But the trouble is, if somebody says to you, not that they said it to me because I wasn't there, but it's been reported back to me that if you are nice to these dolls, they bring you good fortune. And if you're not, obviously they don't. And I thought, well, I don't necessarily believe that, but not going to risk it. So I'm very nice to him
Right.
on behalf of these two who ignore. Well, actually, you're quite nice to him. You just ignore him.
Are you nicer to him than you are to Jack?
Yeah.
Well,
Definitely.
Do you get him a better present at Christmas?
100%.
Gets him presents. Dresses him up in all of my old baby clothes as well, which is pretty weird.
Yeah, and an old little Christmas sweater. He's just had surgery, actually, because our granddaughter Peggy, who's 18 months, managed to pull one of his legs off.
Right.
So he's just had to have some surgery to be reattached to his leg. But he's in fighting form now.
This Christmas, I might give Daddy a Dame Joan Collins doll, so he can take that around with him for good luck. So you can be reminded of your best friend.
Yeah.
Maybe you could get that super fan, Jack, that knitted a doll of you and sent it to us, which had
yes, that was
really weirdly,
weird.
it had quite large removable knitted genitals, which were on
Wow.
a popper, so that you could either have them up or down, which is quite weird.
So weird.
And apparently she did them for people. I mean, you could order book one in for yourself if
Yeah.
you wanted.
Yeah.
But she definitely, we didn't ask her to do Jack. But
No, but
But
I'm
the weird thing
Jack
is that she sent in this knitted doll of me with
knitted genitals.
removable genitals, and you kept it, and it's now in
I've
your
still
house.
got it. Well, it keeps
sits
Winston
next
company.
to Winston in like
Yeah.
an old antique high chair in their sitting room. So you walk into their sitting room, and there's this looked-up doll in all of my old baby clothes, sat in a high chair with a knitted
J.
like,
Whitehall.
version of me sat on its lap. That's the first thing you see when you come into the house.
What a lovely Christmas.
What a lovely Christmas.
I mean, we're just a normal family, let's
sounds
face it.
it.
Just a very
normal,
family.
boring family, yeah.
So in the safe space, we like to share embarrassing stories, and by airing them, we like to attempt to laugh and move on from any embarrassing tales that have been keeping us up at night. So I'm hoping that you've brought some embarrassing tales into the safe space, and if you haven't, then I have some up my sleeve that we could maybe air.
I've got one
In
or two
public.
about you.
Well, I have some about you, so this is going to be
It's going to be
tit for
embarrassing stories top trumps.
tat. Yeah.
could I ask you something
Yes.
about this show? How long is it?
How long is it?
Yeah.
Well, how long is a piece of string? I
Well,
mean,
no,
we record.
you must have a length of
No,
the
we record
show.
Listeners say too long.
Too long.
I don't think it's a long enough show for me to be able to go into detail about what you were like in the old days. It just would need to be a 2 hours special,
Yeah.
really. I mean, I know this is a Christmas special, but
Yeah.
I think
You'd be
that
here till next Christmas.
we would be
unloading all of the
probably
stories
most of the
about me
and a
that are
lot of
embarrassing.
things that I'm sure you've got legal protection around the place.
Yeah, my
The-
lawyers are on
Yeah,
standby.
yeah,
exactly.
If you cross the
Speed
line.
dial, yeah.
That then it would get cut because of the lawyers, and then it would look like we were never even on the show. So that's what we've got to just be a little bit careful about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hilary, what do you have any embarrassing tales from Christmases past that you've been holding on to that have been keeping you up at night?
I mean, I know exactly what you're
I'm-
probing for.
I'm not probing.
Yes, I know
I'm not
exactly what
probing,
you're probing
but
for.
obviously, my favourite story
I know
ever
what's coming.
about you just happens to be a story that also happened at Christmas.
I
So
know.
it's not even like it needs to be crowbarred into this episode, but it's literally like whenever I'm feeling down or upset, I think about this story and it puts a smile on my face because I was witness to it, and I remember finding it funnier than anything else that I'd ever seen in my life.
I know, and
And I love talking about it. Are we having to change names? Do you want to try
I mean,
and
I
make any
don't
of
think
these
so
people
because I think
anonymous?
these people find it very funny as well. I think.
Okay, we'll find out.
Yeah.
To set the scene, 'tis the Christmas of 2010. The Mullins' Christmas party.
Now, just before I get on to my embarrassment at the Mullins'
Are
Boxing
you
Day
trying
party.
to evade having to
No,
tell
no, I'm
this story?
just want to dump him in it first because that Boxing Day
Cheers.
party
Thank you.
was always Anne, who we love and adore. Anne was, because it was Boxing Day, we always used to be served the buffet lunch with a paper plate and plastic utensils because she didn't want to do the washing up, quite rightly. And his Boxing Day parties were always peppered with
falling at
embarrassment
zero, yeah.
of the plastic fork on the paper plate whilst trying to balance a drink with what I can only describe as missiles, i.e. the cocktail sausage that you go to prod that then literally
Yeah.
bounces across the plate and then down somebody's front.
And you can't get any purchase with a plastic knife and fork
On a paper plate.
onto a paper plate. So you're trying to cut the whatever it is,
Cocktail
the meat
sausage, yeah.
or the sausage. Well, you wouldn't eat a knife and fork for a cocktail sausage.
Well, you
but
would if you got it on your plate, because it was a bouncing sausage.
It feels like we veered off course.
why would you have? The whole point of a cocktail sausage is that you pick it up and put it in your
With a
mouth.
cocktail
You
stick.
don't bother with knives, forks,
Okay, then
plates.
it was
Maybe it came on
wasn't a
on a
cocktail
trolley.
sausage.
It came on, that's right. It
sausage
came
trolley.
on with the Mullins' butler
was a whole
on a trolley,
sausage, my
and
God.
then he brought it across
It was
to
a
me.
normal
With
sausage.
Daddy's
then.
teeth, though, you do have to cut up a cocktail sausage into quite small pieces.
Do you know
Very
what his
funny.
solution was, of course?
What?
He travelled with his own cutlery then in his top pocket.
Yeah.
I did.
There were some years
Just
where
for
you
that
would
buffet.
just
Yeah.
for that buffet,
Yeah.
but he was like literally that buffet lived in your head rent free for it would be like months before Christmas was
Yeah.
even like.
Yep.
Upon us, we'd
Yeah.
be talking about Christmas plans, and you'd say, "Well, we're going to obviously go to the
Mullins'
Mullins' Boxing Day party,"
Yeah.
and you'd be like, "No, I don't want to go," and we'd be like, "What? They're your best friends."
He would never
and
have
you'd
said
be like,
that.
"No,
No,
I
I
can't go
don't, no.
because of those bloody paper plates." It's
Oh,
like
right,
you're
yeah.
not,
Well,
you're, so you're
yes, I
actually
would,
not
yeah.
going to go to your
I
best
would have
friend's
gone.
party because they serve
No,
food
I
on
would have
paper
gone.
plates.
I would have gone had they not. But the problem was that they did.
Yeah.
And I found it extremely difficult to eat or even perform
Yeah.
with a plastic knife and fork. I just couldn't do it.
Also, you made them move the Boxing Day party, which they did, unbelievably. I mean, this is quite embarrassing too, that the whole of southwest London had to rearrange their Christmas plans because it interfered with your football viewing.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Just saying.
I
Anyway.
know what you're trying to do.
I know,
Get
I'm trying
back to
not
the
to-
story.
I'm trying not to
You're
tell the
trying
story.
like literally. I've never heard filibustering like it.
Okay, I'm
Tell
gonna
the story
just
about
get
what
it out
happened
there.
at the
Okay.
Mullins'
Okay.
Boxing Day
so
party.
This particular Boxing Day, there had been a massive run-up because their youngest daughter was getting married the following summer, and there had been this big moment and lots of discussion about the fact that we were finally going to meet the youngest daughter, who's called Selena, marrying Chris. We were finally going to meet Chris's parents. And the whole point about this was that our youngest children, Molly and Barney, were going to be bridesmaid and page boy at this wedding. So there was this whole thing about meeting Chris's parents.
Right.
So this has been built up for weeks. So we get to the Boxing Day party.
Edwin and Anne, who host the party.
Right.
Yeah. And we're in their lovely sitting room. And I have a glass of champagne and then meander upstairs to the upstairs sitting room where there's a lot of people there, including you and you.
How could you have meandered up a flight of stairs? But you go up a staircase to the room above. You do not meander up, because otherwise you'd be all sort of doing a lot. Oh, that first staircase was so wonderful. Here's another one now. Oh, I've done the second step.
You meandered down it after this.
Yes, you
I
did well.
meandered
You ran
down it. I
down it.
literally ran
Ran
down it
down it.
almost in tears.
Ran
Yeah.
home.
Anyway,
So,
sorry, carry
into
on.
the sitting room, chat to a few people, including Christopher, who's not with his parents at that point. And then I see somebody sitting on the sofa, so I think, I better go and chat to them because they were sitting on their own. So I go over to the sofa, plonk myself down, turn to this person, and I say, "Oh, hello, I'm Hilary. You must be Chris's father," because this person is in trousers and seems to have a beard and short hair. And
Well, it wasn't a beard, just stubble.
Stubble and a moustache. It was a moustache. It was like
this-
It was just a bit.
It was a wispy top lip.
It was a wispy
Yeah.
top
Yeah.
lip,
Yeah.
but I
So-
mean, it wasn't somebody wearing a beard.
No, but it was.
but it
there
was-
was a
facial
lot-
hair
there
was involved.
Facial hair was involved.
Yeah.
Yes, true.
And I said, "Hello, I'm Hilary Whitehall. You must be Chris's
You
father."
must be.
Yeah, you must be Chris's
You
father
must
because
be. You must be. Not are you Chris's father? You must be Chris's father.
I only said that because I knew everyone
And
else in
Chris's
the room.
father said,
No, I'm not. I'm not Chris's father. I'm Edwin's sister. At which point she got up and the trousers that I thought she was wearing fell into a skirt. And I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh gosh, what a terrible mistake to have. I'm so sorry. Of course you're Edwin's sister. How lovely to see you again." And I thought,
you met her
No, it was
before?
all too.
"Oh
it
my
was.
God. She'd met this lady before."
yeah, but not on a regular basis,
I
and it was
know,
just the
But,
excitement of
I
it.
mean, talk about digging.
digging.
Digging and digging.
There
The
was
more
so
she
much
said, no, of course
soil
I knew
coming up.
who you were. And what a pretty skirt that is. And so clever the way it turns into trousers when you sit down But anyway, it was
my
a
God,
disaster.
God.
But you
What
witnessed.
did you do?
I was sat
was
next to it and I
literally this
literally
colour.
was dying.
Yeah.
I've never like convulsed so much.
Well, not only were you
laughter.
dying and convulsing with laughter, you then went round that room like a whippet
Telling
and told
everybody.
everybody
He
what had
did.
just happened.
He
So that
went
everybody
round-
that came up to me then said, "Gather you've just met Chris's father." And I said, "Look, don't start. Don't start."
And he was running around the room saying, "Did you know what Mummy's just done? She's just said, oh, this is so
don't
funny."
talk like that.
Well, you did then. It was a few years ago.
a few years ago.
I then had to go
Before
and
your voice
find
broke.
Edwin and Anne and apologise and say, "I'm so sorry, Edwin."
What did she do? What did she do?
She was very upset that I had called her Chris's father, and I said, "I'm so sorry, Edwin. I've just called your sister Chris's father. It's so embarrassing." Then, of course, Chris came up and said, "Oh, I gather you've met my father." I said, "Look, don't, please, Christopher. It's so embarrassing."
She was. I actually bumped into her later at the urinal, and she was saying that it was one of the most offensive things that anyone had ever said.
I was
to
just
her.
trying to be inclusive and friendly and lovely and welcoming, and boy, did it come back to bite me.
But can I just say, I think the issue here is that, as I alluded to earlier, Mummy, I just think you're a bit too bold in these social
Yeah, yeah.
situations, and that's why you end up putting your foot in
I
it like
know.
that. Because you must be. That was the fatal error there. You needed to like probe around, and I've seen you do it before. Like you will.
Are you Chris's father? Is a bit. You could have got away with
I
that.
could
Yeah.
have done.
Yeah.
You could have dug your way out of that.
Yeah, you must be. I accept that's quite a bold
Like, I
statement.
play it very safe. Like I've seen you compliment people for being pregnant that that are barely even showing, and I'm like, that is just
Bold,
like
I know.
asking for
Trouble.
trouble.
Yeah.
I'd literally need to see a head coming out before I would say congratulations. I would just always play it so safe.
But you know your mother. Go to a party with your mother, and she knows everybody in the room immediately. I don't mean she knows them prior to going to the party, but she's chatting here, there. I stand in the corner of
Yes,
the room.
in
I
silence.
do.
Yeah.
And
Facing inwards.
just
outwards,
looking
sorry.
at people and thinking, I really don't need to start making friends. I've come for a drink.
Yeah.
Why do I want to go up to people and say, "Oh, hello, how are
misgender
you?"
them.
And all that? Just
Yeah.
leave it. Just stand there and wait for them to come over to you. And if they don't come over, then you can just off and go home.
Yes.
And that's my policy. Hilary's is just unbelievable. She's sort of grabbing people that probably aren't even at the party. We're just walking past the room or something, saying, "Oh, hello, how are you?" She is so sociable.
So
are you
sociable.
not?
Well, thank you very much for sharing that story, my favourite Christmas story. And now, you know what? Armistice. Safe space. Let's draw a line under it. We will never speak of it again until next Christmas. It's like a tradition. What feels unfair is that it's normally Michael that's embarrassing at Christmas.
I
And then you
know.
just had this one, like,
Yeah,
absolute clanger.
Mine was nuclear, though.
Yeah.
It really was.
When
It
am
is
I
nuclear.
embarrassing at Christmas?
And most of the time.
We
I'm
literally
not.
can't go to
Double
church.
entendre the whole time.
We had to
I'm
stop
not-
going to church.
And all the, I mean, every single Christmas we have to suffer all the jokes about turkeys and birds. The moist bird, the big-breasted
so
bird.
much.
Are you a leg or a
So
breast
many
man?
dad
Does
jokes.
does madam require stuffing? All of that every year.
James is picking up some new material. Just jotting
Please-
it down
please
there.
feel free to
I like
share,
that.
yeah.
Leg or breast man. That's going to go down a storm in the Sarah Pinneritz
Yeah.
household this year.
Yeah, yeah.
Has Jack ever asked you for any embarrassing gifts over the years?
I mean, one Christmas that was completely dominated by his insistence that he wanted a Power Ranger suit. But he didn't want any Power Ranger suit. He didn't want a Power Ranger suit that actually happened to be available in the shops. He wanted, well, you say, Jack, which one you wanted. Because I slaved days over this thing.
What did you make it?
What? Captain Scarlet.
No, the Power Rangers.
Oh, the Power Rangers
Yeah,
one.
which one did you want?
He's
Come on,
pretending.
come
pink
on.
one, the pink Power
one.
Ranger.
He
Of
wanted
course you did.
Kimberly's.
Kimberly.
Right.
Oh,
Kimberly's
Which-
last
Power
year, isn't it?
Ranger.
Last Christmas.
Yeah, last Christmas.
But I have to say, Kimberly had only just appeared in the Power Rangers.
Right.
So in the
She
shops
was
that
new, she was
Christmas,
shiny,
there
she
were
was
no
exciting.
pink Power Ranger suits. I said, but what about the green one? No, don't want that. What about the blue one? No.
No.
White? No. Pink. It's got to be pink, 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 pink. So I then spent literally it felt like weeks at the sewing machine, running up a pink Power Ranger suit for
Wow.
him. I
Yeah.
mean, I was that kind of mother. I did it for you, Jack.
Yeah.
That's a lovely story. That's
Yeah.
not embarrassing.
And you gave me the
It's
Power
sweet.
Ranger gun as well that
I
made
did.
the zapping
That
noise.
wasn't pink, I'm afraid. Yeah, and that's
No.
when you nearly gave his uncle
Yeah,
heart failure.
Uncle Peter, who used to come over for Christmas, and Uncle Peter had fought in the Second World War in the Burmese jungle, and he used to nod off quite a lot, and he was rather irascible by that point.
Well,
I
only when he'd
remember I
had a
woke
bit of
him
When he
up.
a...
had a few drinks.
He had a few drinks.
You
Yeah.
woke him
And
up.
I woke him up with his Power Rangers guy by letting it, this Power Rangers gun by letting it off right next to his ear, and he woke up in quite a strop. I think maybe he'd had some kind of relapse and thought he was back in the
He was
Burmese
triggered, yeah,
jungle.
yeah.
Did you appreciate the gift? Did you wear it? The pink Power
I've got
Ranger
photographs
suit?
Photographs
You've
of
got
him in it,
photographs
yeah.
of me.
No, I'd like to see them.
No,
Yeah.
you would
Fine.
not. So, James, who have we got on the phone today?
I think we've got someone called Sumya. Sumya, you there?
Oh, actually, no. Come to think of it, we don't have Somya on the line because we have a little Christmas surprise in store. Instead of Somya, my parents have been embarrassing me, but I thought in response, I'd get a very special guest on. It's Kathy Serafinowicz, James's mummy.
Are you joking?
Are you there?
I am.
Hey,
Oh,
Kathy.
Oh, mummy.
Hiya, Jake.
Hi, Mom.
Well, my mother's been here embarrassing me for the last half an hour, and so I wondered whether, as a little Christmas treat for me, you had any embarrassing stories about James when he was a wee nipper.
Well, what do you want to know, Jack?
Give me everything. I need all of it, warts and all.
Well, one time he was due to have his audition for a new school, a posh school called the Blue Coat School.
Oh.
That I got into.
Oh.
Half bored.
He did get into. But the night that he came home, I thought he looked a bit sheepish, having his dinner and stuff, and he wasn't very talkative. And then about 5:45, he said to me, Mum, I've got something to tell you. I said, what's the matter? And he picked his school brogues up, and he'd been playing football in them on the way home, and the sole was completely hanging off one of the shoes.
And I was going for this interview.
We had about an hour to get there, and I tried to glue them. Couldn't get any from the shops, they were closed, so I tried to glue them. And in the end, I just pulled the whole sole off, and the heel came off as well.
Oh.
He had to tiptoe.
I would just have to shuffle with my foot along the ground.
You ruined your school brogues.
Not on purpose, but I was playing football,
Before the
Jack.
big interview, you were playing in the street, kicking the ball, pretending you were Gary Lineker or Andy Gray
Kenny
or
Dalglish.
any of your other heroes
Yeah.
from that time. Any of the other, the Blues.
Kathy, can I just say, when Jack went for an interview at his posh school, do you remember when you took him for an interview?
When you tried to rip me away from my day school
Yeah, yeah.
that I was
Tried
very
to get-
happy at in London and
Yeah.
sent me to a
Yeah.
boarding school
I
aged
tried to get
11.
those heels off you too, because you wanted to go to the interview in high heels.
My pink Power Ranger
Yeah.
costume.
Yeah, and the pink Power Ranger costume.
He remained mute for the interview. He suddenly
Yeah.
lost the power of speech. For a man who now works in the communication industry, it was like he'd been taken
that's
over.
not what we call it, by the way. It sounds like I work in a call centre. I'm a stand-up comedian. The communication industry.
Yeah, completely hopeless.
You sat in complete silence.
Because I
and
didn't want to go to boarding school. I was deliberately
mate.
sabotaging it.
I was-
James ruined his shoes by accident.
And I had to
Yes, he
answer all
says.
the questions. The headmaster was asking Jack the questions and saying, "Oh, Jack, how old are you?" And then I say, "Oh, Jack is whatever he was." You always say, I sent you to boarding school when you were 5, which is a total lie. He wouldn't answer one single question. And then afterwards, the headmaster said to me, "I'm really sorry, Michael, because we were really looking forward to welcoming Jack here, but I don't think he's for this school. Thank you very much." And I said, "Absolutely fine." And then I got you in the back of the car and said, "You little... How dare you do that and pretend?"
Have you got time for any more? Emma?
Oh, yes,
we
yes,
have plenty
Kathy.
of time, Kathy. Keep them coming.
Right. Well, when he was about 14, he broke his leg, and we all felt so sorry for him, genuinely, you know. And his sister came home and she said, "I've got a gift for you. The Liverpool copper's being demolished." And she said, "I've managed to get you a piece of the cop." And when he opened it up, there was half a brick in there, and it was absolutely delighted with it. And then a few years later, she told me it was just a bit of rubble she found along the road.
Oh,
Oh,
And he went mental.
that's so sad.
Did you get really angry?
Did he really?
Oh.
Yeah, because I thought, oh, I've got a piece of the car. So the worst thing that she did was when I had a broken leg and I was in hospital for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And she would come and visit me every day, my sister.
Yeah.
And I was in bed with this like massive cast on my leg, and my sister would stand at the end of the bed and spit on my toes, and I couldn't do anything about it.
That's a great gag.
Yeah, I'd just be sat there, and then when they finally,
I do that with Daddy sometimes. Christmas. when he's inebriated.
When they took the cast off, my ankle and my foot was just covered in dead skin and my sister's saliva. It was disgusting, and I had to kind of explain to them, I'm really, really sorry. And it stank as well.
She's been spitting on my
she's
foot.
been spitting on my foot every
And you
day.
couldn't even put on your brogue to cover it because it didn't have a sole on it, and she would have been able to get through the barrier.
I was just going to say, I've got another one of his school things, which was very embarrassing.
Safe space. Get it out there.
Okay. Well, when he was 14, the school had an exchange program with kids from America, and we received a letter to say that the student that we were going to have was named Jamie, and we had to pick him up from the airport. Anyway, when Jamie turned up, it was a 16-year-old girl, and all the other boys had girls too, and they were all beside themselves with excitement. Anyway, she seemed okay. James was a bit bright red talking to her. And then all was going well until the students met up for a night out. And when they came home, Jamie just said a quick good night and she ran upstairs. And James didn't look very happy at all. And I said, what's wrong? I said, have you had an argument? And he said, no, I don't want to talk about it, Mum. I said, oh, come on, tell me. He said, I've gone off Jamie.
Why?
I said, why? He said, she pinched me bum. He was absolutely mortified.
Oh, no.
Can you remember that, James?
No.
James, you would be begging for that now.
Don't deny it.
I know.
Jamie pinched your bottom and you couldn't hack it. You couldn't handle the heat.
Are you sure you're my mother?
You got overtures from the glamorous American exchange student
She wasn't very
who was
glamorous.
pinching your bottom, and you just couldn't hack it.
God, Mum, I
Playing so hard to
think
get.
you've been drinking champagne as well.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Oh, it's been lovely talking to you.
Lovely
really
to chat to you.
lovely.
Merry Christmas, Kathy.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Sorry.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Hilary. Merry
And
Christmas,
to you.
Michael.
Bye,
Thank
Mum.
you.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right,
Love
bye.
you.
Bye,
Bye.
darling. Bye. Love
Darling.
you. Bye.
Sweet. Can I just say that Cyril Finowitz obviously used the same sign-off, Jack, because he said "love you," which is what we
Love
say
you.
to you, and
Yeah.
you say to us.
Love you, Jackie.
I think most people say that to their parents.
they
don't
No.
No?
No.
Can I just say no?
No,
and
they
also,
don't.
it's testament to them being together. My mum and dad still being together. We've grown up in nice,
Loving households.
Yeah.
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 Loving households.
Can I ask, do you kiss your dad on the lips?
Yes, but no tongues.
With no tongues?
No.
Oh my God.
We made it very
No.
clear there will be no tongues.
No, we don't.
But do you kiss him on the... Because my dad always made sure we kissed on the lips.
Well, yeah, as
Oh.
kids, maybe.
But not still now, no?
Not still
I think
now.
I've kissed you on the lips.
No, you
Yeah,
haven't.
I have.
You won't even let someone pinch your bum, let alone kiss you on the lips.
I don't know what that story
No,
was.
that story is factually accurate. James, custodian of the safe space Postrum, have any Yuletide letters been penned into me?
Yes, we've got one from Megan.
Oh, is that the Duchess of Sussex?
It's probably not.
It could
Okay.
be. Reading it probably isn't, but
Okay.
it could be. So I bought a sex toy for myself.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, it probably is then. So she'll have another one now. She'll have two sex toys.
What, Harry's
Harry and her.
So I bought a sex toy for myself and Christmas gifts online. I got the boxes mixed up, wrapped my sex toy, and put it under the Christmas tree. My parents ended up opening the gift, and I died of embarrassment. R.I.P. Meghan. So I don't think it is Meghan Markle, but
Can I just
quite
say,
Although that would be amazing if it was
Yeah.
Camilla Parker Bowles.
I was going to say,
A rampant rabbit on Christmas morning at Sandringham.
does history relate what happened with the parents and the sex toy? Do we know what happened? Did
no,
they enjoy it? Did they give a review?
This
That's
is
not
all
really
I've got
how a
to
letter
go on.
works.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe in the future.
Yeah.
We'll be able to
We've
ask
never
more
had that.
questions.
What, sex toys?
No,
Have you ever mixed up my
No.
presents?
I've never opened a
Yeah,
sex toy
let's
at
go.
Christmas, no. I did have that thing where, do you remember when we were filming in Thailand? And I bought loads of those bottle openers that were like a carved wooden penis with a bottle opener attached to it.
They were so
Yeah,
gross.
and I bought
those.
about 20 of them
Yes,
as
you've got to
gifts because I was like,
obsess
oh,
them.
these are great. And
Yeah.
they're like a little novelty gift and I'll give
Yeah.
them to people at Christmas. And then we came back through customs and I had them all in my hand luggage and we went through customs.
I do
and my
remember
bag
that.
went off and so they checked it and this guy went into the bag and he pulled it up, but they were clearly quite shoddily made. So when he pulled it out, the bottle opener element had broken off. So he just pulled out essentially a wooden dildo and thought that I was smuggling through
Yes.
20 wooden dildos to take home, which of course I wasn't.
Did he
Well, you
confiscate?
kind of were.
Yeah.
I kind of was.
Yeah.
I kind of was.
Did he
yeah.
confiscate them? Or
No,
did,
no,
they've
I
got
still
through.
have them.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
What did
I
he
gave
say? He
them out as
says, "Oh,
gifts.
enjoy your
Yeah.
gifts."
Enjoy your Christmas. And on my way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were a lot of questions asked when you tried to smuggle.
Yeah, do you know what? Trying to get this
That
through
through.
customs.
Winston.
Yeah.
The man
the
was
doll.
pulling it.
It was
pulling
when we were in Los
took
Angeles.
its
Because
trousers
it looks
off.
like something you would hide drugs
Yeah,
in.
yeah, and,
Yes.
and he had to get. He literally went through the X-ray machine about 16 times because they thought there definitely has to be
He
some
kept
drugs. in here.
shaking.
They took all his
Winston.
clothes off.
Yes,
and, yeah.
they took his clothes off.
It would be quite a good red herring if you were actually smuggling drugs. You could have Winston with
Yeah.
nothing in him, and then you could have
You're
the
full of
drugs in
Condoms
nature's
in your,
pocket.
in your, yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
thought you know how they do it. That's good drug smuggling knowledge.
I like a documentary.
So we've got another letter, Jack.
Yeah.
From Fran. So my boyfriend always said I was a bad kisser. I took it as a joke until he bought me a voucher to get lip fillers for Christmas.
Oh.
I had to explain to my dad that this type of filler was different from the type he uses on the wall. It still lives in my memory. We didn't kiss again. Wow.
You can't
I
get
think
some,
that's harsh.
Horrible.
Really harsh.
But then again, is that any different to you getting me passive aggressive presents like?
Baby grows.
Well, I was thinking of links,
Bum
and
and
like
okay.
deodorants and things like that because of my personal hygiene. But a baby grow would be an even more passive aggressive
Yeah.
present to get me.
Just saying.
Is that what I'm
Jack.
getting this year? I'm getting a baby grow because I haven't born you an heir.
Just saying that Whitehall name has got to live on somehow.
Yeah, that is not going to encourage me to have a child. You buying me a baby grow at Christmas. Thank you to everyone for sharing your stories. They are now set loose in my safe space. You are now free to live your lives. If you've got a weight that needs lifting, then send it in to jack@safespacepod.com. Remember, it's the place to go for your moments of woe. Right, here in the safe space, you can share anything that weighs heavy on your mind to help you move on. So, away from the theme of Christmas, I can't believe I'm doing this. While you're here, is there anything else from your lives, Michael and Hilary, that you still can't get over that you want to put out there into the world?
Is there anything left that you haven't already shared with us?
I mean,
and it
the-
can be an embarrassing story about anything.
What about masturbation?
Well,
No,
I
I
always
was-
worried about Jack and
There is the
Barney.
There is the story of us
That's
being
my
on.
brother, just to be clear.
There is the story of us being on holiday with the family friends. Do you want us to do that one?
They don't seem that embarrassed about it.
No, it's an embarrassing
Yeah.
one for
For
me.
you. Yeah, go on, please. Yeah.
I mean, it caused
Go
a bit
on.
of a schism with
Uh-huh.
these very great friends of ours who we had gone
Is
on
this
holiday.
the Mullins again?
No, it's not the
No,
Mullins.
this
They'd
is
already
Chopes.
cut them loose by this point.
We'd gone on holiday with this family well, actually, the mummy is English, but they're American, and they have twin daughters. Do they not?
They do.
Yep.
They're still twins too, apparently.
Funnily enough,
think
they
you
are.
remain
Seen
twins
them
for your whole life.
recently, but
Anyway, we went on holiday. You had some weird sort of thing that you were going to, that you thought, oh, actually,
they're
there
not
were.
twins.
No.
Why does your mind go there?
You said they were twins.
You
and then
said
you
the
done a
great thing
weird thing about
you said,
them.
we're going on holiday because, you know, our friend Avery's a very successful banker, and
Yeah.
we've got twins, and
Yeah.
we'll get Jack in their eye line.
it'd
And
be
Which one
quite
get
good.
Jack in there, right?
Well, you didn't have any girlfriends at that age. How old was Jack then?
about 5.
Yeah, but I thought, looking at the future, I thought
throuple.
maybe he should make a few friends, girlfriends.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
No.
How old are the twins?
6, 7.
6,
You
7.
mean 6
Well, they
and
were-
7? That's not
I
twins.
said
Twins
Six
have to be
or
the same
seven.
age.
They were 6
Otherwise,
or
they're just
7.
sisters, Hilary.
They were 6 or
6 or 7.
And
no,
I
yeah.
thought with Jack, because relationships, I was worried about Jack
At
having
6?
a relationship.
At 6,
no,
you
no,
were worried.
looking to the future,
Looking to
I
the
meant.
future. So already
The-
at 6, you were like, this guy's never
Yeah.
going to be able to hold down a
No,
girlfriend. So I need to set him
exactly
up
that.
with a guy's
and
twin
I thought,
daughters.
when Jack gets a relationship going, he's bound to fuck it up. So the ideal thing would
Is
be
to
to
haul
have
me out on a family holiday
No,
to
to
your
have
rich
twins,
friends' twins.
so that if you screwed it up with the first one, you got the
There was a
second
backup.
twin.
Backup twin.
So that was our plan,
Yeah.
and you completely wrecked it
Yeah.
by.
So we came down for breakfast one morning, James, and Mrs. C was furious. She was absolutely thunderous. And she said, oh my God, she said, the girls are distraught. I don't know what they're... I can't console them because Jack has absolutely upset them so badly. And Michael said, oh my God, what's happened? And she said, this is I'm not sure I'm ever going to get over this. But, basically they were fast asleep. Jack ran into because they were staying in the annex next to where we were staying. Jack ran into their bedroom, jumped onto their bed. He had nothing on, and he did what he said was the windmill dance in their faces to wake them up.
What was the windmill dance, Jack?
Pretty self-explanatory, but how old was I when this happened?
About 5 or 6.
5 or 6,
Yeah.
exactly. At 5 or 6, there's nothing wrong.
You thought it was so funny, and they
It
did
was.
not
It was
see
some
the
of my
funny
best
side.
material
No,
back then.
Didn't see the funny side. It didn't help, I have to say, that when Michael then said to Mrs. C, "What you mean this?"
Well, Michael did
then
his
it
demonstration.
I didn't do anything of the sort.
How far into the holiday was it?
Quite early doors, actually.
Yeah.
We always had a problem with Jack trying to keep his clothes on, generally speaking.
God,
the
now you've opened
nudity
a can of
was
worms.
exhausting.
Not worms. It wasn't.
One
it was bigger
worm.
than
Can of one
that.
worm.
Yeah, literally. To an unacceptable level. I think we finally got him to keep his clothes on when he was about, what do you think, 24?
Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
The windmill dance.
The windmill dance.
The windmill
Did not
dance.
go. We paid for their therapy for years.
What do you mean therapy?
Well,
didn't
because
have
they
therapy.
they
got
were
over it.
literally traumatised.
Yeah, no,
having a willy
overreacting.
here,
Yeah.
as they woke up. There.
Where?
Waggling. Here.
Oh, yeah, right.
Waggling around. As I said, it didn't
Pointing.
help that you then put your willy there with Mrs. C. It didn't go well.
Hilary, please.
See, this is where I get my embellishing
Yes.
of stories from.
Right.
Yeah.
No, you are very open with your body, aren't you? And, no, remember, because we crossed swords, didn't we? One
Cross
night.
windmills.
When
No.
did we cross?
One night, and we were having a party in ours, and me and you
Oh,
crossed
yeah.
swords.
But you still do the windmill dance as a grown man.
Yeah,
it's your
exactly, yeah.
party trick.
yeah, especially with the energy crisis,
Yeah.
doing my bit.
Have you noticed that
Sustainable.
every single part Jack ever gets, nudity is always involved. Even if it's not in the script, he will make sure that it gets into the script.
Right.
Bad Education, you're always nude.
Yeah.
That's why Clifford was a 15, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Decline and Fall, I seem to remember you were nude.
there's a lot of nudity.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
I have a nudity clause in all of my
That it has
contracts
to be
that I
in.
have to be able to get it out at some point.
Yeah, naked yoga and
Well,
Travels with My
yeah,
Father.
I haven't been naked on the
Yep.
podcast yet.
No, well,
But as a
Give it-
special Christmas treat.
Give it time.
So, Jack, after all of these stories that your parents have divulged, are you feeling,
Yeah,
feeling...
no, I feel great.
Yeah.
I feel really good that it's all out there now and that the world knows about all of my embarrassing tales of woe and the time that I traumatized some American twins with my windmill dance. It's good. It's good to
Yeah.
get it out there. It's good to get it out there and air these stories.
Well, yeah, we might have to, if we do another one, we'll have to do a sequel next Christmas.
A sequel next Christmas.
What, a
some more stuff.
naturist version?
You
That's
want
the
to do
thought.
this podcast as a naturist special where all of us are naked?
Well, Michael, I think, would come without a tie. That would be his
Right.
nod towards it. But
Right.
yeah.
We'll have to get some
That's
different
never
chairs.
happening, just to be clear. We are never doing a naked version of this podcast with my parents.
No.
Before we close the safe space for the festive season, it's time to induct our favourite tale from today's session into our hallowed Hall of Shame. This special edition we are calling Deck the Halls of Shame because it's all Christmas stories.
Lovely.
Lovely.
get
So,
it.
of course, we heard today Hilary's story of a mistaken identity at a Christmas party, my foray into the world of Power Rangers, James being left red-faced by an unwanted bottom pinch, and my famous windmill dance. So which of these stories do we want to put into the Hall of Shame? I'm afraid normally I open this up to the room, but on this occasion, I'm making an executive decision.
Because it's Christmas.
Because it's Christmas, and Hilary's story
Oh, I knew you were going to say that.
of misgendering her
I
best
knew
friend's
you were going to say that.
sister
Misgender.
is definitely going into the Hall of Shame because it's my favourite story ever. So thank you very much, Mother and Father, for coming on and settling into the confines of the safe space. Do you think you've learnt anything about yourselves? Banished some bad memories today?
No.
No.
I mean, I can't believe I'm going to have to now show my face in public with everybody knowing that story.
Yeah.
You have the Mullins for this Christmas.
Oh, well, I'm sure we will be.
We can listen to this.
Oh, no.